Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome. It is March 13th, 2024, and it is a Wednesday evening. Welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you like my hat, as you can see there. And it says believemeachieve.com. And that's the place you guys want to go to get some more great inspirational nuggets to help improve the quality of your life. But let's get right into the show, shall we? We're here. It's about 11:02. We really thank you for being here, whether you're here now in PM or 11:02 a.m. or maybe 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. or perhaps another time like maybe even 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. Whatever it is, thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate you guys being here. Please do check out TikTok. You can find that in the believemeachieve.com. We had a pretty heated debate today with a lot of parents coming back about a topic we talked about, saying don't send a cell phone to school with your kids and then be texting them all day, because that really just isn't good for their mental well-being. All right, guys, so let's get right into this. So you guys know we are on the master topic of Impress Yourself, Series 3, Show 11. And our granular topic is Efficiency Essentials, Series 3, which means we're in the third year, Show 11 and episode number 5. All right, guys. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is something really cool. And that is number 1. Yes, number 1 is streamline your inbox. Uncover the power of decluttering your email inbox. Being able to go through your emails. Maybe you go through 5 or you go through 10. A lot of people are pack rats. Like, they get email in, but then they don't respond to them. And they don't have to necessarily respond, but they have to make a decision. Do you junk it? Do you trash it? Or do you file it? And most times people just leave everything, and then they have 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. I had a guy the other day, he had over 80,000 emails. And of course, he wasn't going to go back and read them. No. That was over a period of, I'm going to say, maybe 4 or 6 years. So when you get emails in, you have to look at the title and figure out, does it need my immediate response? Is this something I have to take an action on now? If it isn't, then maybe it's something I have to follow up in a week or something, so I can put it up in a follow-up folder. Otherwise, it might be something I have to answer right now. So the one thing you'll do is you'll look at the title and see, is this something that I need to read, or something I can file or toss? And so you can make that distinction very, very quickly. All right. And freeing up emails really frees up your mental space for creativity and productivity. We might say, John, how does that happen? Well, your mind is so bogged down by all these things in your box, okay? But when you understand that there is more to it, that it controls you, there's a huge, huge difference. All right? I think that's a real cool thing. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it might not be what you think it is, but I will tell you that it's pretty amazing. Because it changes things. It changes things in a way that most people don't know. Okay. It changes things in a way that most people don't know. And so you're probably saying, hey, John, this is nuts. This is crazy. But it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. When you declutter your inbox, it's like you get a new lease on life, right? You get a new lease on life. All right, so let's talk about how you can do this. So you need to make a commitment to do this every day, not just one day, not just 1 week. You got to do it every day. And you might say, well, John, I don't have time. Just chunk 10, chunk 20. Maybe you'll do 10 in the morning. Maybe you'll do 10 at night. I don't know. But you're going to do something consistently every single day. If you want to take off on the weekend, that's fine. But I would recommend you not take off on the weekend, and you basically do it every single day of your life. And it will change your life, because now you're going to appreciate emails more, and you're going to be able to handle and file them in a way that you probably didn't know you could do before, right? I think a lot of people get de-empowered by their mailbox. and they're like, "Oh my gosh," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do?" And what happens is people just they freak out. They freak out. Pretty cool, right? Well, not if it's you. Um, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's just all about having the power, okay, and knowing what it is that you can do. But some people just disempower themselves, very similar to the famous story with the elephant or the tiger, where they're tied to a stake after they were born, and they can't break free right away. Then they do the first year, the second year, they still can't break free. Third year, they still get, and they just give up. And by the time 4 or 5 years goes by, they're pretty big, and they still have this mental restriction in their head that they can't do something. I think that's just crazy, but that's truth. That's what we do to ourselves. So that's why I always tell you we have to believe and achieve. Very, very cool. So the next thing I want to talk about is organizing your space. Yeah. So when you make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to organize your space, you declutter your physical environment. You tackle those overflowing desks and water pills facetiously, or your closet, and you tidy up space, and it can boost your focus and your efficiency, and set the stage for success in all areas of your life. I can tell you that when my desk is a mess, I feel that I'm not productive. So I always like to have a clean desk. If there's a paper or two, that's fine. But I like to keep my desk clean. I like to keep my counter clean, my table clean, different pieces of furniture pretty clean. And when you do that, it's like you are empowering yourself. You're empowering yourself. Okay. Pretty cool, right? I think a lot of people want to do something, but then they can't. And the reason they can't is because they just feel so overwhelmed of their life and what's going on. They don't necessarily know how to do something. But when you realize that you have the power, okay, which is in your brain, then you can do pretty much anything you want. But most people do what the lion or the elephant do. They psych themselves out that they can't actually do anything. They don't have the ability to do anything. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. And I'll tell you that it exacerbates itself and it gets worse the more you feed onto it. It's kind of like if there's a situation that's not going well and you keep, throwing more wood on the fire, you know, proverbially, where you're, let's say, being nasty to people, or you're constantly just saying things that gets under people's skin, the fire starts to get a little hot. They get a little nasty. Not that they should, but some harsh words get thrown, or maybe a relationship gets destroyed, or maybe there's some anger or just a temporary moment of separation and quiet that happens. So I think that's important. The last thing I want to talk about tonight is mindful eating. So mindful eating takes the premise that there's an importance to understanding the true cost of what you consume. Now, I use a program called MyFitnessPal. You might have known it. And every day I go on MyFitnessPal and I log my stuff. So, like right now, I had my lunch, but I didn't put my dinner in yet. So, I'm just going to go and put dinner. I'm going to do that right now. So, I basically had a dinner and I had about a cup and a half of pasta, okay, with some sauce. And so that was 371. I still have 721 calories left. So the reason is that when you start to realize, and I tell people, oh, this is expensive, they're like, what do you mean it's expensive? I'm like, no, the calories are expensive. So if I do something like that, I have to make sure I burn it off, or I do extra running, or I do extra exercises. I burn that off. And when I do that, it gives me the feeling that it's okay to have that extra donut, or it's okay to have that because I'm compensating for it. A good rule of thumb, ladies and gentlemen, is to take your hand, and there's an basically inner palm right here. Okay, see the inner palm? Your piece of meat or protein that you have should be about the size of that palm, roughly. Then you should have some starch or potatoes and some vegetables. Now, I know that people may want more than that, and I get it. Chicken is more healthy, and it's actually going to put a lot less weight on you, and it's actually going to burn off easier. Then I study my carbs, and I use a device that actually measures my O2 level, so I know whether I'm burning carbs, whether I'm burning fat, without to get in all that detail. But I think the important thing is that knowing that you want to eat, okay, you're not living to eat. You're eating to be able to live. There's a difference. And as we dive into this, I think the biggest thing I want to share with you is that little steps, little changes in your life can empower us to become a greater version of ourselves. Let me say that again. It can empower us to become better versions of ourselves. That's a pretty neat thing, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that is just like such an amazing thing. I can't even tell you. So I know a lot of times you're doing stuff and you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I have no clue where this comes from. I don't even know where to start. And I think if we can just step back for just a moment and say, okay, let me take a breath. Sometimes we have a client, sometimes they get a little uptight because, they get a little bit harried because maybe they're not comprehending things. So, we always try to go slow and go over things and try to make things very amenable to people. But sometimes people, they worry about, being able to swim. And we're just starting off by putting our feet in the water. We don't have to be able to swim. We just have to put our feet in the water. We just have to start, right? Then if we get in the water, we get a little more comfortable. We're standing. Then we start to blow bubbles. And there's other things too. But a lot of people, they put their mind way out there and not in a positive way, in a negative way. So I've told you that you can use your mind in a positive way to think about all the things that are coming in your life. And that's amazing. But you can also do the reverse, which can sabotage you. Now you might say, John, how do I know whether I'm sabotaging myself or whether I'm helping myself? I think the biggest thing that you can do to figure that out is to know that your life is about you. And as long as you don't harm or hurt anybody, then I feel that life is going to be amazing for you. Life is going to be absolutely, absolutely, when I say amazing, it's going to be amazing. People get uptight when they have to do something and they don't necessarily know how or why. And it's this moment that puts people into a condition that makes them want to give up. Okay? Makes them just want to give up. And so we need to be our own best cheerleader. This is really, really important. So this whole week we're talking about impress yourself. So we have tomorrow, which is Thursday, and we have Friday. And the reason this is so important is because so many people shut down their life. They shut down their capability of being great because they get scared and they just don't know where to go. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that efficiency, okay, streamline your inbox, it's going to give you more power. Organizing your space is going to give you more power. Okay. And mindful eating is definitely going to give you more power. So let's review these. So we have streamline your inbox. Okay. I don't care whether you have 10 or you have 100. I found this too, like, oh my gosh, I got to go through my emails. I just got to go through them. And you might be able to say to yourself, hey, I'm just going to just delete everything. If you can do that, that's great. But you should be able to go to your inbox and say, okay, gee, do I want this? Do I don't want this? I can just look at my titles. You can click at the ones you want and you can say delete. Okay. As you do that, you're going to find that your life just gets easier. It gets easier. And by getting easier, it's like there's a burden that's lifted off of you. Okay? A burden. And that burden, I'm going to tell you, is interesting. That's the best way to put it. It is interesting. And so the more that we can chip at that burden and say, hey, I can do this. I really can do this. Then you can go to the next step. Okay? You can go to the next step. And that next step, ladies and gentlemen, is greatness. Greatness. And again, I know people get flustered because they want everything now. But they just stop. And I think they do this because they get overwhelmed. They get overwhelmed. And it's understandable that people are going to get overwhelmed. But if we take every day of our life and we celebrate things, like when I say celebrate, like the fact, like I got 10 emails done. So in a week, I was able to delete 70 emails. That's pretty cool. Most people have an extra 1,000 to 3,000, and you could clean that up. So it's that kind, and then that you instill that behavior, now you're not going to have that cluttered junk box anymore. And I think that is just like, I think that's just the bee's knees, right? I think that's absolutely amazing, right? You might say to me, hey, John, I try this, but then people frustrate me. I get that people frustrate you. Trust me. I know what that's like. But I think if you understand the fact that you have more ability than you can think about, I think the world will change for you. The world will change for you if you actually believe that. If you actually believe that. But if you don't believe that, then there could be some problems. There could be some problems. And these problems could temporarily suspend you, or they could put you at a status where you don't even know where to go or what to do, right? But just going through your inbox and just making the choice to, know that things are going to be a certain way, I think that is so very, very powerful. Okay. So just taking 5 or 10 minutes a day to go through and just clean out your inbox. And I think if you make a practice of doing that, you're going to find that your inbox is not going to get so cluttered as it did. It's not going to get so cluttered. And the reason it's not going to get so cluttered is strictly because you now have the belief that you can do a lot of things in your life. That's pretty powerful, ladies and gentlemen. That's extremely powerful. And you might be saying to me, hey, John, I don't quite get it. It's not making sense to me. Well, I'm not telling you that you have to know everything tomorrow. Okay. But what I am saying to you is that it needs to come down to a point where you understand that a habit is required, a good habit. When a good habit is built, you keep fostering more of that habit. So let me say that again. When a good habit is built, you actually are able to do more. Okay? You're able to do more. You're able to do more. And if you're able to do more, then you'll have more confidence in yourself. You will have more confidence in yourself. And when you have more confidence in yourself, it's like the world just kind of opens up like your oyster. Okay? The world opens up like your oyster. And A lot of people I know get very crazy because they feel they can't do something and they don't exactly know what they're supposed to say. Okay. They don't know what they're supposed to say. So I want to tell you that your life can be, when I say amazing, it can be amazing. It can absolutely, absolutely be amazing. But there's going to be some challenges, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be some challenges. And with these challenges, I feel that a lot of people don't exactly understand why things go a certain way or why they go another way, right? People just don't understand that. So taking the commitment to go through your inbox and making sure that you've gone through everything, okay? Making sure you've gone through everything and everything is just right for you. I think that can make a huge, huge difference. It can make a huge difference. And if it makes a huge difference, that's going to make you guys be a better version of yourself. So many people I talk to get flustered because they just don't know where to start. They don't know where to end. They don't even know like like anything. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to research. They just don't know anything. And it's not because they're stupid or anything like that. They're not stupid. They're very bright, intelligent people. It's because they just don't understand the fact that life has challenges. And when life has challenges, um, that's just that's like pretty amazing. That's the best way I can tell you. It's very amazing. And if it's amazing, then you can understand yourself why things are a certain way. Okay. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And I know it may not, I think a lot of people, for whatever reason, they get, again, they get flustered. And if they get flustered, then it's a problem. It's a problem for them. It's a problem for people around them. But taking just some of these tactics I've given you can really empower you to be a better person. It's just that, something as simple as checking your inbox is not hard, but it's something people just don't want to do. Why? Well, because they feel that there's no need to do it. Okay, there's no need to do it. But I'm here to tell you that there is a reason to do it. There is a reason to do it. And if there's a reason to do it, then I believe you'll understand what I'm saying, that life is meant to be lived. Life is meant to be celebrated. Life is meant to be a learning experience. That's a pretty cool thing, if you ask me, right? Life is meant to be very, very special. Okay. And when we do these great things to help us figure out what's going on, it's like we get these epiphanies. We get these epiphanies. And these epiphanies help us to understand that we're here for greatness. We are here for greatness. And by being here for greatness, there is so much potential. So much potential. And so while we think about, I told you about the emails and things like that, I think it comes down to the fact that you've got to come up with a plan. And the plan is, how do you process things? How do things work? And if they work a certain way, then great. But if they don't work that way, then maybe you've got to do other things, right? Maybe you got to do other things. And if you can't do other things, then it's like you don't know where to proceed. You don't know where to proceed. And so let's think for just a moment that you can do whatever you want to do. But the key, ladies and gentlemen, is consistency. Let me say that again. The key, ladies and gentlemen, is consistency. The key is consistency. The key is consistency. So if the key is consistency, then I think you can move to another level, right? Well, John, why is it so confusing? I think it gets confusing because a lot of people don't understand the fact that life is a learning experience. Let me say that again. Life is a learning experience. And if it's a learning experience, there is a lot that we can derive from that. There's a lot that we can derive from that. And if we can derive just a small piece of something, right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just go for something small. And when we go for something small, it's like life changes for us. Life changes for us. And if life changes for us, then that means there's going to be somewhere where a door closes, but you can bet your bottom dollar that a window is going to open somewhere. Now, it might not be exactly in the location that you're looking for, but the good thing is that it is going to be there for you. You might have to look for it. Might not be, right in your lap, but the truth of the matter is you have the ability to do it. Okay. I think a lot of people they get themselves into a tizzy. They don't know where to go or what to say. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that your life, okay, can be remarkable only when you decide to impress yourself. Let me say that again. Your life has the potential of being outstandingly remarkable when you impress yourself. That's amazing, right? So if all that's true, which we know it is, imagine the fact that these things now happen and now you have this belief that your life is changing, okay? Your life is changing. And if your life is changing, then I think things could be amazing. Things could be amazing. And if they're really amazing, then there's no limit to what could happen. There's no limit to what you could say. Okay, there's no limit to any of this, ladies and gentlemen. And just knowing that you have potential in your life. So how do you think you would feel right now if you went through your email and you started figuring out, what do you need to do? What do you need to do? And if you said, gee, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. What you're going to find, ladies and gentlemen, is that your life is going to have so much ability. Now, I'm not talking about the ability that's going to create magic in 24 hours. I'm talking about the ability that's going to give you potential to be able to take your dreams and where they are today and move them to another spot. So, knowing that you can do these great things is probably an amazing thing. Okay. Just knowing that. And once you know that, then I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to be great. But I know you're going to be scared because you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I had the potential. I said you got to show up in life, right? But I also said a very important thing in life is you got to make sure that you believe in yourself. You got to make sure you believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're going to be second guessing yourself your whole life. Your whole life is going to be a second guess game. Your whole life will be a second guess game. I know it sounds crazy. So belief is so key to becoming the person that you have always wanted to be. Pretty cool, right? And if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that every day in your life can be different. It can become better than what it was before. It can have the ability to literally take you, when I say to a new level, it could take you to an entirely new level. A level that is going to bring you new potential, new possibilities, new opportunities, right? That's what it's going to do for you. It's going to bring you that ability. And with that ability that it's going to bring you, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this actually happened. Yeah. I can't believe it actually happened. But it does happen. It'll happen again and again and again and again, just by you starting to believe in yourself just a little bit. And you might say, John, I don't know if I can do that. Well, yeah, you can. Just start to believe in yourself a little bit. And as you start to believe in yourself just a little bit, you're going to find that it gets a little bit easier every single day of your life. So every single day of your life will get a little bit easier. Just a little bit easier, a little bit easier, a little bit easier, a little bit easier. And with that, you will see that things don't look the same way they did before. They're going to look different. They're going to look majorly different. So you go through your email, you check the titles, you make sure that basically, is that something I should respond to? Should I do something with it right now? Should I quickly trash it? Or do I have to follow up and do something with it later? I mean, you tell me, what do you need to do? But I don't want you to pack rat your email. I know I've gone through periods like that, and I always have to get back and say, like, okay, I have to make sure that I definitely, do what I need to do so I can get back on track. Because having a email box that is very full is something I feel that a lot of people won't like. And then it's like they're not going to want to do anything, not because they can't, but because it's just hard for them. Because, see, if you have this, let's call it this challenge, okay? And you're able to you can't get past something, it becomes even worse. Let me say it again. It becomes even worse. Becomes even worse. So if it becomes worse, you have to know that when you do something as simple as, emptying your mailbox or do something, it can make a major, major impact. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You've been watching Inspirations for Your Life, and we talked about Impress Yourself, and we talked about Efficiency Essentials, Series 3, Show 11, Episode 5. Stream here in your inbox, organize your space, and of course, be mindful of your eating. And I'm going to see you guys, when? I'll see you guys later tomorrow. All right. Have yourself a great rest of your evening, everyone. I'll catch you soon. Be well, everyone.